Hey everybody, it's Alex, the founder and CEO at Motoroso, and in this video we're going to be covering the must-have mods for the E90 Series 335i, and of course that came in sedan, wagon, convertible, and coupe, so take your pick on whatever you're looking for, and they all featured the turbocharged 6-cylinder power plant. Now that would have been an N54 engine from 07 to 10, which was twin turbo, and then in 2011 they introduced the N55, which went to that single turbo twin scroll. Both are exceptional platforms for producing big power with simple bolt-on mods, and these are the ones we think you ought to be considering. One of the more common problems on this platform is that the charge pipe can start to get brittle and it can break, and that's just going to start happening on some of these older vehicles. Now this means you're going to get boost leak, you're going to lose power, it's just not going to be quite as reliable, and it could turn into a problem for you in the future. So an inexpensive fix for that is getting an aftermarket charge pipe that's made out of something better like aluminum or steel. Now VRSF offers a great option for under 150 bucks that's made out of powder-coated aluminum, and they offer it in multiple configurations. You can stick on the N54 with the stock diverter valve setup, or you can go to a blow-off valve, which is not a performance decision, it's just whether or not you want that cool sounding blow-off valve. And when you're going to a blow-off valve, there's two different flange types to choose from, whether you're going HKS or the TL Turbo Smart setup. And on the N55, it doesn't have the diverter valve or blow-off valve on the charge pipe, so it's just one nice and easy decision. Another great option is available from Berger Motorsports for around the same price. Now this is made out of machined aluminum, it's powder coated black just like the VRSF, and it comes with the options of the diverter valve setup or the TL and Turbo Smart blow-off valve, but they don't offer an HKS BOV for this one. Now it also features, just like the VRSF, two 1/8" MPT bungs which you can use to pipe in water meth. And at the top end of the spectrum is going to be the ETS charge pipe. Now this does not come in a diverter valve option. You're going to need to go with either an HKS or a TL Turbo Smart blow-off valve, but it's made out of 304 stainless steel, which is a much tougher material, a more expensive material to work with, and this one's going to set you back around $250. It's available in brushed, flat black, or gloss black. On any boosted application, one of the most important things you can do is keep the air going into the engine as cold as possible. When the air passes through a turbo, it's very, very hot because the turbo is being spun by exhaust gases, and that just cooks the air coming through there. So that's why you have an intercooler. That's taking air that's coming off of the turbo, now pressurized, helps cool it back down, get that into the intake, and the cooler that can be, the more dense the air is, the more dense it is, the more oxygen it has, and the more combustion you're able to get. Now, aftermarket intercoolers can help perform a lot better than stock. You've got an option from VRSF that's going to set you back around 380 bucks, and it's a 5-inch intercooler. It's the same size as stock, but it's going to drop intake temps about 20 to 30 degrees just by performing a little bit better. Now ETS makes a great 5-inch option as well that can drop intake temps up to 45 degrees, but that's going to set you back around $690. And our favorite comes from Mishimoto. Now this is an upgrade from a 5-inch to a 6-inch intercooler that packs into that space without any sort of cutting or modification required. It can drop intake temps up to 50 degrees, but it'll set you back around $790. Now there are other options. You can go to a 7-inch or an 8-inch if you're looking for those big power applications, but those are going to cost a little bit more, and they're going to also require that you cut and modify the area where it's mounting, but we'll cover a little bit more of that in our cooling mods video. On all three of those options, we're going to put links to those in the description of the video here. And as far as power gains goes, you can expect to get anywhere between 5 and 15 horsepower depending on how you tune. Now the Mishimoto, supporting more volume than the others, is going to allow you to push up to that upper end of that spectrum and power gains just a little bit easier. One of the biggest areas of opportunity for power gains is going to come from an upgraded downpipe. Now on your N54, you've got twin turbos, so it's two separate pipes, and on the N55, it's one, but there's lots of great options out there that'll flow more exhaust gases, help your turbos spool up quicker, and produce 15 to 25 horsepower gains depending on how you tune and whether you go with a high flow catted version or with a catless version, which of course is going to be a touch louder. Now if you go with a high flow catted version, it's still going to give you a more aggressive deep tone, but it's not going to be quite as racy and dry and loud as a decatted option. Now we put this after intercooler deliberately. Very important. Things are going to get hotter when you run a downpipe, so make sure you do an intercooler first to help keep things cool. We're going to do a deeper dive on all things exhaust for the 335i, and we'll put a link to that video in the description, but in this we're going to cover 3 great downpipe options. If you're in a state where you're lucky enough to do that catless option, two very popular options are available for under $300 from both ARM and CTS. CTS makes an option for the N55 and ARM only making an N54 option, but both of these going to produce up to 25 horsepower. And then VRSF offers a huge range of options in catted, catless, N54, N55, and you can even get them with high temperature coatings, and those are going to range anywhere on the low end from $275 on up to almost $600. Of course, the catted options being the more expensive of the two. Now, you're definitely going to need to look at tuning as your next must-have mod. As soon as you start messing with things to do with intake and exhaust, you gotta be tuning. And you gotta make sure that you get the right air-fuel ratio, spark advance, all of the things necessary to keep the car running clean and maximizing the power and the gains from the mods you've invested in. Now, MHD makes an option that's really user-friendly. It's $300, plugs in the OBD2 port, and it talks directly to your cell phone. And it's got off-the-shelf tunes that'll let you quickly get a tune for intake and exhaust, for example, and keep the car running clean. Very, very easy and friendly to use. But Berger Motorsports is kind of the champ in this space. They make the JB4, and this is the tuner's favorite, especially for those high horsepower builds. This module is going to be a piggyback module that lets you do anything and everything you would be able to do or like to do with this car. Set you back around $500, $200 more than the MHD. It's going to let you do anything you could possibly want to do. That's going to be one of our top recommendations. Now, one of the most obvious mods for any build out there is wheels and tires, not just because they look good, because this is literally where the rubber meets the road. This is how you're putting the power to the ground and how you're getting around corners quickly and with confidence, but of course it also makes the car look fantastic. Now, a lot of our customers like to buy wheel and tire setups so they can just bolt onto the vehicle and not have to do any sort of fender rolling. But of course, if you're into that, there are lots and lots of options. I couldn't possibly cover them all here. But if you want to know what the most popular setup is for this application, a lot of people are doing a staggered setup with a 19 by 9.5 wheel in the rear and a 19 by 8.5 in the front, both using a +35 offset to get that nice flush look. And you'd go with a 265/35 rear tire and a 235/35 front, and that's gonna be a nice meaty staggered setup for you. And if you wanna go with a square setup, just go 19 by 8.5 all the way around and then choose the tire size that works best for you there. Now, when it comes to wheel designs, like what kind of wheel you want, cast, forged, flow-formed wheels, there's so many options on designs, colors, and all that. We couldn't possibly cover it all in this video. And we have all kinds of options at Motoroso, and we love helping our customers pick a great set of wheels and tires for their vehicle. So go ahead and hit us up at Motoroso.com on live chat or toll free at 833-MOTOROSO. We're here to help you plan your wheel and tires. Now that you're making a little more power and you got some sticky tires to put that power to the ground, let's start talking about how you can improve the handling performance of your 335i. Now, BMW's handle pretty well. They feel good. It's good quality suspension from the factory, but it is still factory suspension. And you'd be surprised how good a set of coilovers can make your car feel. And on top of that, you start to gain a lot more control over the way that your suspension feels. It's going to give you ride height control so that you can actually set exactly where you want the car to ride. Instead of just putting lowering springs where you have to choose exactly the amount that you want to lower the vehicle, you can set it anywhere between 1 and 2 inches lower than stock height. Now, you're also going to gain controls like rebound damping and compression damping. So you can control the way that the shock moves through its compression and rebound stroke, really dramatically changing and enhancing the way the car feels on the street or on the racetrack, giving you the control to do both. For under $1,000, you can get yourself into a set of Bilstein B14s. These are going to give you that ride height control of 1.2 inches to 2 inches of total lowering, front and rear. Now, these do not have any sort of adjustable damping controls. They've chosen a setting that they think is good for aggressive street driving while maintaining comfort and a good blend of the two. For just a touch over $1,000, you can get yourself into a set of BC Racing BR Series coilovers. These are going to give you a wider range of ride height control between 1 and 2 inches total front and rear, and then you also get one damping adjustment control, and that's going to adjust rebound and compression damping together in the same direction. This makes it very simple to operate. It's just twist the knob. Do you want it firmer or softer? And it makes it very quick to adjust as well. And gaining that level of control in a shock that's just over $1,000 is an awesome feature set. And that feature set goes even deeper on the BC Racings because it also includes a camber adjustable top plate that gives you ±3 degrees of camber adjustment so you can get that stance looking exactly the way you want it. And if you want to get a little more serious about your suspension, take a look at KW Suspension's Variant 2. Now, this is a company that makes motorsports technology at the highest level and trickles that technology down into their street line. It's available to the public. This product's going to set you back around $1,800. Don't get sticker shock though, because this is going to come with some seriously awesome technology. Now, it's going to give you a wide range of ride height control, and you're going to have one damping control knob that moves rebound and compression damping together. But it does feature their twin valve technology, which emulates high-speed and low-speed compression damping, meaning the shock's going to respond differently to the different types of shock inputs that are coming from the road, whether those be rolling undulations or sharp bumps. This means you're going to get that motorsports level of technology on your 335i, making it capable of performance street driving, comfortable cruising, or taking it to the track. Getting back into making a little bit more power, one of your next must-have mods is going to be an upgraded cold air intake system. This is a great way to flow more air into the engine. It's a good complement to the intercooler, and you're going to hear the turbo spool up a little bit more, overall enhancing the sound of your 335i. Now, this can be as simple as replacing just the filter, like from Berger Motorsports. For around $95, their N54 solution is literally simply a dual cone filter. And for the N55, it's about $200, and it comes with a few extra couplers and piping, but mostly reusing the stock piping. For a little bit more, you can upgrade to the InGen short ram intake, which is going to feature 6061 aluminum piping, of course much tougher and better looking than that plastic intake piping from the factory, and that's going to set you back around $450. And for around $500, you can get the AFE Magnum Force, which is made out of roto-molded plastic, which is designed to flow the air as smoothly as possible. And this product includes a heat shield, which is going to help keep that air as cool as possible going in, which is of course always a good thing. With all that additional power and handling, you're going to want to now start looking at how to improve your braking performance. Again, from the factory, brakes are pretty good on this BMW, but as usual, the aftermarket offers great options for upgrading, and you at least want to look at doing something like pads. Pads are going to work with the factory rotors to actually just improve the braking performance and get you past that, good enough for daily driving into good enough for hard street driving and the occasional track day. For around $150, you can get yourself into a set of Hawk HPS pads or something like the StopTech Sport pads, both of which will support a little bit of light track day use and still be excellent on the street without making too much pad noise. The next level of performance is going to come from replacing the rotors at the same time as the pads. And getting a kit of rotors and pads means you're going to have a rotor that's going to be more resistant to heat and warping because it's made from a much better grade of iron. You'll also find features like slots or cross-drilled or both combined that's going to help release gases that are coming off the pad and keep the face of that pad clean, maximizing the contact surface area between the pad and the rotor. This is going to be the best way to get street performance and track day performance without having to go to a full big brake kit. On the budget end of the spectrum, you can get into a set of R1 Concepts Geomet rotors and sport pads for under $600 all the way around the whole car. Now, this is going to be a better set of rotors that you have 3 different options. You can get them in cross-drilled, slotted, or cross-drilled and slotted, and this is going to be a great upgrade for well under $1,000. A little further up the food chain is going to come from Hawk. The Talon HPS brake system is going to be about $800 front and rear, and it's going to give you the option of either drilled or slotted rotors, and these are just going to provide a little notch extra in performance. And if you know that you want to do some track day driving, we recommend stepping up to the StopTech Sport system. This is going to give you, again, 3 options in your rotor style. You can get either drilled, slotted, or cross-drilled and slotted, and it's going to come with their sport pads, and this is going to stand up to some extra punishment at the racetrack. Now, if you want to step up to the pinnacle of braking performance you can possibly achieve, you're going to want to look at getting a full big brake kit. And this means replacement calipers, stainless steel braided lines, custom rotors, all of the above. And all this is highly configurable. You can go to a bigger rotor, but then you have to work your wheel around it. And so things can get a little bit technical. And we'd love to walk through all of that with you. And if you think it'd be beneficial for us to make a braking deep dive video, let us know in the comment section, because then we can go maybe into more depth about the different rotor and pads combinations, but also look at BBKs. But in the meantime, if you'd like to learn more and have us help you configure a big brake kit for your 335i, don't hesitate to reach out to us on live chat or call us at 833-MOTOROSO. Now, Now, one of our last must-have mods here, this is not necessarily a must-have, but this is one of our favorite ways of making big power at a very reasonable and cost-effective price point, and that is water methanol injection. Now, this is effectively a way of taking a blend of water and methanol that's injected into the intake system of the car, which dramatically reduces the intake temps, which increases the density, and effectively raises the octane of your fuel by like 20 points, depending on, of course, how it's tuned. Now, this can be accomplished at a very reasonable price point and can have huge gains in the power output of your E90. A simple kit's available from Berger Motorsports, again for around $450. You can get either a 1 or a 2-gallon tank, and it integrates nicely with their JB4. For around $550, you can get the Snow Performance kit, and Snow Performance is a leader in water methanol injection. It's really what they specialize in, and that's a very simple kit that comes with a nice 7-color LED display control unit. But if you really want to go up to the pinnacle of water methanol, we recommend the Direct Port Injection Kit from Snow Performance. Now, this is going to set you back around $1,250. But this includes a CNC machine direct port injection plate that you mount directly onto the head, and that shoots that water methanol right into the source, maximizing the performance gains that you can get, making it the most efficient water methanol system available. Now, that water methanol system is going to help keep everything cool and perform better, but if you want to dive deeper into all the cooling options, more deep than we've gone in this video, head on over and watch our specific 335i cooling video. As usual, everything we've talked about in this video, links are going to be in the description for the items that are available at Motoroso.com, and we're always here to help you with all your mods. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.